Okay, how's that? Better?
Give me a sec.
Give it a second.
I'll let you know as soon as it pops up.
Yep, we're live.
Better? All right. Let me know if this repeats.
Although it might be paused. Nope, there we go. Maybe.
Nope, we're still good.
Oh, hey,
Okay,
Kemi.
there.
So let me know if this repeats.
No, it's working fine.
Excellent. So let me know if this repeats.
That really threw me off because I unmuted the stream real quick and you said on stream and on call at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that. Just let me know if it repeats. She found that funny. Hello, Kemi. Mr. Squarepeg, academic anarchist. That's a surprising name that I never thought I would see here. You're going to be very disappointed, I'm afraid, because this is all about game politics and stuff that doesn't actually matter. I apologize. Oh, and how could we, of course,
academic anarchist is a
Traven.
friend.
I'm aware of academic anarchists' streams and things like that, and yeah, we're not intellectuals, apart from Tina.
I try.
Well, we're not here for the intellectual chat. We're here to talk about fictitious creatures of the night and their politics.
If you want intellectual, we do stream an STA game.
Huh.
I don't know about that. We debated saving stranded people by firing a torpedo at them
For quite a while.
for quite a while.
I suggested abandoning them.
Which is a
Technically, we
viable
did.
tactic.
We
Anyway.
abandoned them into the vacuum of space in the form of giblets.
Isaac Avian.
Keep firing.
Last game.
Shiv.
Thoughts, highlights.
Last game was awesome. I'm trying to think exactly.
It was awesome, but I can't remember it. But I know it was awesome.
This
Look,
was me 5 minutes ago.
All the days just meld together.
It doesn't help that Isaac's brain is currently melting as well.
We went to Elysium, and the nice vampire went and told everybody everything that we did to the Seneschal the previous week. That was last game.
Yes. Yeah, we spent a lot of time at Elysium with Pandora and the such. Yeah, it was good to have kind of a more chill and relaxed session, especially after the previous session with the Seneschal and the battle, and that was super intense. I was trying to think, like, wait, did we fight the Seneschal last session? I didn't think so. But yeah, that was 2 sessions.
It does feel a little bit like last session.
You went to Elysium. You had the announcements about the replacement Primogen.
Yes. Yeah. It was a really interesting turn of events to see Bach elected, or back elected as Primogen. I wasn't expecting that. So that was an interesting turn of events. I think that's going to be interesting going forward. As far as the other Primogen, well, first with Bach or back.
Let's go back
I
to
think
Bach.
Isaac likes. Yeah, let's go back to Bach. Isaac likes Bach just because when they first met, they had a very similar senses of decoration, and they like some of the same things based on his like apartment. So Isaac was complimenting him back then before he disappeared. So yeah, I think Isaac's pretty friendly with Bach. The other Primogen, Isaac does not like the new Banu Hakim Primogen, especially how insulting he was to
Was he
Isaac and his
insulting?
family. Oh, he was insulting.
What did he say that was insulting?
Primarily, I think he referred to them as lessers or something like that.
Oh dear.
I can't exactly remember the exact words, but there was particularly something that Isaac felt was insulting.
Yeah, it was a bit dismissive, not to Isaac himself, but the Hakata clan.
Yeah, his family.
I mean, Xavier did no favors on not riling him up before you all went over there. So.
Fair. Did you pick up on the person who did the announcements? Did you pick up that she's trying to become the Harpy?
Oh, that
Nope.
would make sense.
Not
I didn't
live,
pick
but
it
now
up.
that you said that.
Yeah,
It
that
wasn't a
makes a lot
character
of
that-
sense.
She wasn't a character that we've heard of before, right? It was
Correct.
just a new. Okay.
Oh,
I remember you
Oh, I can do this.
like she made her presence known, but so so much happened last game and not a lot happened last game, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because a couple of us went and did our own thing, a couple of you all didn't. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely like having some of the quieter downtime sessions following some of the like intense sessions now. I think that strikes a nice balance.
If I can get away with it, I will. If you've had a particularly stressful situation in the last session, then you need to chill out in the next one. Unless story-wise, you're still carrying on the same stress from the previous session.
Like a perfect example is Wonderland. That stretched on for multiple sessions. We were still stuck in the situation. We weren't out of danger. It continued. Yeah, definitely makes sense.
You want to come and say hello to the internet?
PDA. PD.
No, I couldn't hear her. I've
Wait.
got headphones on.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
is Takako going to say hello to us?
No.
Camera shy.
Yeah, she wandered into the room earlier, saw me and Tina were on, and that was it. And she immediately looked shocked and then hid behind Shiver.
You know that look cats give when you come in the room all of a sudden?
Yeah, like
They turn real quick and they're like, that's kind of what she did.
that look Amon gave when Xavier mentioned the Ripper right in front of the prince when they thought he was the Ripper. You know, just
Yeah.
Oh,
Save
yeah.
that
Like,
clip.
are you gonna sell me out?
like.
Save that clip. It was a good one.
Mhm.
What happened after you? So you went to the Primogen. What happened after you
Went
saw
back.
Banu Hakim Primogen?
Xavier went and did his thing.
Talk to Lance.
Ah, yeah. You all split up.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah, Xavier
I
did a
suppose-
thing.
I suppose it
I
would be.
wouldn't.
Do you have meta comment on what Xavier went and did and has to do?
I have no meta comment. If somebody wants to ask a question, they can, but I'm not going to tell you all anything.
I might.
Well, okay, on the one
No,
specific thing.
I'm just winding you up. I wouldn't want to spoil what could be a very
Oh
good
no,
story.
I know you won't. It's the first time in the game where Xavier has actually, quote unquote, sold out the Camarilla. They had the Anarchs, or at least the Bruja, had no information about what had happened, and he was that voice, and made sure to point out specific weaknesses within the Camarilla. Can you all hear that recorder?
Yes.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little weird.
Sorry.
Oh, hot cross
No, we're
buns?
just stuck on one note. It's just ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Teacher had to do the Jurassic Park theme.
Oh yeah.
That'd be hilarious. But yeah, if anybody wants to ask questions, and that doesn't mean just stream. You all too, if you have any questions.
If a train leaves a station at 3:30, travelling at 75 kilometres an hour, and it's heading towards another station that's 420 miles away, and then there's another oncoming train that's travelling at
You're
around
already
about...
mixing. You're already mixing. Nope.
Why you do this?
Yeah,
But yeah,
no
so
effing way.
Isaac Avian, any meta comment on Xavier's mission?
Oh, I think it was great. Vampire is one of those games like in Dungeons and Dragons. You never split the party up, right? Like D&D, it's always bad to split the party up. VTM, you can get away with that. Like absolutely, you can get away with that. And I think it flowed well having people because again it was a more chill session and it made sense for some people to take care of some business they had and I enjoyed seeing Tina. I mean, Xavier is an anarch, so it was really good to see Xavier go and do some anarch stuff because we don't see a lot of that. So it was really nice to see him going back and touching base with his fellow anarchs.
I also really just like seeing Lance because anytime Shiver has to act like an American, or like a tough guy, it's amusing to me because I can tell how much Shiver doesn't like doing it.
Kemi asked a question. What were your most important takeaways from the last adventure, especially regarding that you all had split up?
I mean, I think Isaac kind of nailed it on the head. I liked being able to see characters do things that we won't know about until, well, like Amon kind of knows about it now because Xavier and him had that like moment in the car at the end of the game. But getting to see,
technically, even when I talked to Lance, you all didn't know what it was about. It wasn't until I talked to
yeah,
you where you got details.
yeah, and
And
seeing
those
it
details
happen
may
though.
not, even meta, some of you all may not have a fucking clue what this is about. Great.
Yeah. And seeing stuff like that happen, and us as players have to just sit there and listen and go, who? What now? Who's this? Save who from the Camarilla? It was kind of fun because like we weren't able to do anything because we weren't there. So just letting it happen to us and being curious was
Shiver,
nice.
I'm willing to share this if it's a thing, but I know specifically regarding our game when it comes to information in our journals, right? You've got Kindred, you've got Khan, and under Kindred, you've got Anarchs and Camarilla. I know that not all of us have access to the same people. Regarding Francis North, I'll say his name because I said it on stream. Am I the only one, me and Amon, the only ones that have that? Yeah, I know, right? Do you know?
Yes. I think so anyway, off the top of my head.
It would make sense. So, okay. All right, then I won't say anything then.
I mean, I'm trying to remember because I don't know if it was meta knowledge or not. Because I remember back during the Masquerade Ball, Xavier was looking around for him. Yeah, but I can't remember if Xavier brought that up or
I looked for the Baron at the Masquerade Ball.
Yeah, and I can't remember if that was. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, then yeah.
Everybody here
true.
knows that Elysium is not controlled by any sect. It's neutral ground. It is an Elysium territory, but it is neutral ground. Elysium always has a quote-unquote keeper. That's all I'll say there.
Ricky is the one who
It
would
may or may not have multiple keepers at the moment.
Now, Shiv, just as a World of Darkness question, is the keeper a neutral clan of some kind?
No.
Usually?
It's just a title, like Harpy.
Or because I figured, yeah, but I wondered, because like if you have a keeper of Elysium like that, I mean, unless you're gonna have some initial biases, even though Elysium is supposed to be equal to both parties.
Let's
So that was why I wondered.
let me ask a question that might pique some ears. How old's the prince? I know we've asked this before. You don't have to give me that info, but I have dates.
She old.
Yeah, okay. I have dates for Francis North. You know what I mean? So, does she eclipse that or?
She older than Francis North.
Okay, all right. Wow.
Old enough to be fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's just
probably.
Stormy.
She has specifically. I can say that word now. Hasn't done anything to be quote unquote terrifying. Like it's one of those things. We went through this with werewolves. Like
I typoed Vancouver on the chat. Thank you, Vancouver by Night, for the host.
Vancouver.
Thanks, Vancouver. Oh, that's an I. I thought it was an L. Vancouver.
I wonder if I could get
Vancouver.
coffee
Emmy,
brought
what?
up. Let's find out. Carry on.
Emmy, what?
Kimmy, we don't have that info. That is lore info that we've not unlocked yet.
I mean, I know, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah. We try to avoid quote unquote auto win buttons. I don't think that's oh my god, that's loud. I don't think that's auto win. It's just one of those things that information.
I don't
I
even
can
know what
say-
I'd do with that information.
She would appear to be an elder. Those of you with
that makes sense.
some knowledge of World of Darkness as it is right now knows that elders are being summoned to the Middle East to take part in what's called the Beckoning.
The blood
Was
call.
Beckett there?
Beckett's not an elder.
Yeah.
Strangely
It's
enough.
called the
I was
Beckoning.
referring to the beckoning, not the elder part.
Ha, ha,
You really aren't getting me today. It's fine.
I need that coffee.
I'm just really bad at puns anyway, so whatever.
Actually, there was last night we were all chatting away in Discord as we do, and someone put in a clip of Candy 2000 where this little disc comes out from behind the ear, the personality disc, and Xavier Tina did the most amazing pun. What was it?
I have to go back up.
Did
It was
you
something
wash
about,
behind your ears? Did you wash it behind
because
the
it
ear?
looked
I
like
was
a
I
washer
thought it was amazing.
instead of a disc. Yeah.
I thought it was amazing, to be quite honest.
Yeah, the android. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Kemi asked, okay, let's assume you are not interacting right now. As if we can hear you think out loud. I would like to hear your specific takeaway, as if you are narrating those points. Sorry to be confusing or difficult.
That's meta information.
Yeah, you don't want to do... Okay. Okay.
Wait.
I'll go first just because it's... Actually, I ask, is Kimmy talking about that specific part of the session?
I believe so.
I mean, Xavier went in knowing about that specific thing already. Kimmy, you weren't there. So what I specifically, when I went in there, it was, I explained what was going on within the Camarilla, what had happened, us killing the Seneschal, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, is there any more info? To which, or I think I was like, so what do you need me to do? And that's when I got more of the info on it. Right. So, yeah. And he didn't specifically state as a lot of specifics here. Yeah, in that situation, it was, this is a thing that you've got to do. It was super vague, which it kind of needed to be because we're surrounded by fucking thin bloods and Bruja that are kindred and they can hear you. So for Xavier, though, it's based on his real life experiences, being combat trained and actually being involved in war, it was a deep breath in, deep breath out. Oof, that's a big thing. Like, it's daunting. Not a lot of his first thoughts was, I'm gonna need fucking help.
Yeah.
Fast card.
Glasscart says, no one takes a word for Black Cripple anymore. What's the world coming to? I want to tell you, Fastcart, you are no longer getting in on the back of the bus like you say. You are sat up front with me.
Ooh. And technically, the only other person in the coterie that knows anything is Amon. And based on what Xavier said to him in that car, I'm kind of curious what Amon thinks, because he was really tying you to the Bruja side of things and not the Banu Hakim.
The way you worded the ask, especially after I said that I won't stop you, but I won't help you anymore if this goes against the Banu Hakim or Sidra, and you said, yeah, but this guy is really important and he does a really specific job, and if he's locked up, that's kind of messed up even for Camarilla. And that was the moment where he was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like if somebody's keeping somebody hostage, the Banu Hakim especially are going to be like, wait,
mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, like if
only we can
if
keep
you had
people
been like,
hostage.
yeah, if you had been like, yeah, but we really need to get this guy out because he's like really important to me or us or this and that, and it was kind of going against the Banu Hakim or the Camarilla, then Amon would have been like, oh, you're just using this Bruja thing as a, come on, dude, but we're bros. Come on. You'll do this for me, though, right, bro? Come on, we're bros. We do bro stuff together.
I think you're mispronouncing Brojars.
Brojars, yep.
So, no, I mean, yeah, it was at first when you started it with, hey, I need your help because of our blood. I was kind of like, okay, what are you going to have me do? But as soon as you were like, it makes sense because justice, Amon was like, all right, yeah.
I like justice.
Yeah,
like
justice, because my justice.
Yeah. Let's have some justice with just us. That's what justice is about, right?
It's going to be real curious when Sidra finds out, and then from there, dependent on if I get anybody else involved. Probably going to have to. This is a big thing, but we'll see.
I think by the time Sidra finds out, though, Amon will have a bit more information to kind of help be like, no, trust, it's not as bad. It's not a huge anarch thing. We're doing this because justice.
Justice.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if she doesn't give me another, I'm very disappointed that you didn't tell me about this speech like she did last time.
We still need a room in the Haven just for coterie members to shout at each other without being overheard.
We have that.
Oh, we do.
Well, we will.
It's a soundproof room.
I already have a feeling certain members are going to react to being like, hey, let's go, do this thing that'll totally piss off the Camarilla.
It might eventually accumulate a few bloodstains on the inside for other things we use it for. But yeah, you can go in there and shout and not be heard.
Specifically, those certain people may never know just because of those reactions. Xavier's kindred too.
Lady Rhapsody.
Yes.
Thoughts, feelings, last session. Any highlights?
It's really interesting seeing Beck end up being Primogen. Very confusing. That's going to be an interesting plot line. If it ever comes up again.
Yeah, that's true.
It's you always have to add that to anything in RPGs because the player that's involved with it or any character that's involved with it could have just evaporated into thin air someday.
Oh, did you get just ice?
What?
He didn't have his
Have you ever
headphones on
confused
yet.
an old man? That's what it looked like.
Did you just
Yeah.
get ice?
No.
Just
Okay.
ice.
Oh, justice.
There it
Great
is!
big steaming glass of
He
just
gets it.
ice.
It's not as funny because we didn't have to explain it.
But if
Um,
anyone was watching Noscavian when he was working that one out, you could literally hear dun 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 dun. Sorry, Groundhog, please continue.
New Primogen seemed okay, and then I just I can't remember the rest.
Well, first of all, New Primogen, back. You and Ricky actually directly interacted with Back just before the announcement that he was Primogen.
Yeah.
So, what were your impressions of Back before you were like, oh, that's a Primogen, and then after, oh shit, that's a Primogen?
Before they were the Primogen. Okay, this person's pretty powerful to suddenly be, appearing before us or powerful enough, and not been listening in. I'm kind of a little bit pissed and a little bit scared of this person. But they are also a Nosferatu, so this is what they do. Also, I'm a Toreador, so I'm not going to like them very much anyway. After, well, shit. I've just spent an entire, part of a night making jokes at the expense of this person. Now they're a Primogen. Pretty much.
Okay,
So you don't
cool.
remember the other side of backstory from the other side of the road?
You mean his box story?
That wasn't part of the question.
No, I was
Do
just
you
trying to jog your
remember
memory.
any of his
You said
backstory?
Yes, I do know his backstory from what people have been saying. I know far more about his backstory than I do about the Ripper murders, which I have to keep pointing out to people.
Well, I mean, in fairness, you and the coterie both.
To be fair,
Yeah,
I think that's just.
you keep asking us for more, and we've given you everything we have.
I think that's how we need
Which
the
is
coterie.
absolutely no information at all. As far as my character knows, there is no the what's it called? The Primogen murder, and the ones afterwards, which everyone's saying is no longer Ripper murders. So there's apparently no Ripper murders. The only thing I know about the Ripper murders is the fact that Backwood's talking about them, about the Ripper being a thing.
You know everything we know about the River murders. There's no blood. There's usually no fucking skin left there.
I think she
Well,
means
that's
her
if-
character doesn't know.
But she,
No!
Yeah,
we've said that to her. Yeah.
She knows meta, but
No,
Rhapsody
No, I
I'm
don't
just
know
saying,
Meta
Rhapsody
either.
would have known
Oh.
based on us saying this isn't a Ripper murder
See-
because there's blood and giblets. Like
I think what we need to do is just have Xavier shouting Ripper murder facts at the coterie more often, because that's how we retain back information, because they sat and shouted at each other about back for like an hour. So if we can retain information about back by Xavier shouting at people, he just needs to go over he needs to go over everything we know about the Ripper murders in his yelling voice. Not particularly at anybody.
That's Xavier's secret special power. Whenever he shouts stuff, it is retained automatically in whoever hears its memory.
Ta-da!
But I mean, before it was kind of figured out that those weren't Ripper murders, the coterie had said, and he had even called like Pandora during the Primogen, or after Chuckles' murder, and called Pandora and said, "We found another Ripper murder." And
Well, that was the first murder that was kind of suspect.
right. And then,
Right?
you also you called Pandora again when you found the corpse of the Mithrian and the Banu Hakim member, and you called Pandora, and Ricky and Rhapsody happened to be in Elysium and ran into Pandora, and you told Pandora again, "We found another Ripper murder." So like Ricky and Rhapsody have on multiple occasions. I don't know that they've actually ever been told those weren't Ripper murders or been explained. You know, I think they've been like, because the coterie has mixed it up several times. They've heard and been told that those were
You're
Ripper
right,
murders.
but we have also said
That,
no, that's not a Ripper murder because of this. So,
but no, I don't remember us ever actually sitting down and telling Ricky and Rhapsody that. Since since the whole thing with, it was like, oh, we went to go
That's
see.
true.
so when
So there was the murder with, so there's like the murder with the Mithrian and the Banu Hakim member, during which Ricky and Rhapsody were off on their own little side trip, and then the next session was the getting into things, lots of arguments about what happened the previous session, and then we're finding a murder of the previous Kalal, and then from that site we get dragged off by Lorvan.
Yeah,
That session with driving off into the night, and then we had
I have
last
nothing
week's
to say
session.
here.
So we have an exit.
Tabby's kind of got a point, because we never. I mean, we all kind of had moments where we were like, I mean, these Ripper murders are kind of suspect.
Yeah,
And
except
then we
a
slowly.
few of us, when Lorvan came to us and said no, the Seneschal did it, a light bulb came on for a couple of us. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
if that didn't come on for
Rhapsody
other
wouldn't
people,
have that.
that's fine. I
my
get it.
character my character would have shit all idea of that, because
Yeah.
they haven't seen any other Ripper murders.
To
They
be
don't,
really honest,
don't know that there has been any other Ripper murders.
And they
I
haven't,
hate-
like Ricky and Rhapsody
I hate
haven't
the
had the
Ripper
previous
murders because of
murders explained to them.
I hate
Mhm.
fucking despise them.
Um,
There's no sustenance
the
to it.
tobacco
I mean,
I'm
you're all
smoking would go
asking for
down well with
more,
the
and
crowd,
there's-
by the way.
So there is no more. There has literally been no other Ripper murders. Great, that's good to know.
Well, I mean, no, there were.
I mean, that's actually
there,
true.
There's.
It has been a very long time since there was a Ripper murder.
This has openly been said around you. We had a copycat once already. And then now Lorvan approached our coterie while we were in that door, or called, and I said, we need to go see Lorvan. We went and saw Lorvan, and Lorvan was like, the Seneschal did these specific murders. And we were like,
Right.
oh,
So as far as my character is concerned, the Seneschal
is the Ripper.
not the Ripper, but
we don't
The
know.
Ripper's
At
still
the
there.
very least,
Yeah.
like the only Ripper murders they know of have not
Are
been
the ones
done
that
by the
Seneschal
Ripper, so
did.
there has been no Ripper
Yeah.
murders. That's
But
what I'm
what-
trying to
what-
communicate.
Ricky and
They have
Yeah.
no clue about any of the other stuff because you
that's
haven't communicated any of it. You've
No, that-
communicated
Right.
that, okay, the Ripper murders have this like that there is two facts about these Ripper. My character has no clue about
Okay,
anything
so-
else.
So that depends.
Like any other incidents, any other
hold
people.
on.
involved.
Stop. Hold on. That depends on if your character doesn't read the news, listen to the news about any murders, just have normal information thrown their way that, hey, did you know that somebody's killing kindred and they're just fucking vanishing? Like, that word has gotten around. People know that's a thing within the Camarilla. Maybe Pandora has said it a couple times. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Did your character live under a rock, or does she have that information? I don't know.
It is the current meta plot. It's known that there is within Kindred Society. It's known that there is a masquerade breaching murderer on the loose.
And to
That's my
to
point.
try
So
and
you do know that there is one. You just probably never.
Well,
seen it.
I know my character probably knows that there is one. I don't know any, but has no clue any information about them.
Right,
or
and what
any
Tina's trying to
like
say, what
it
Tina's
is
trying to
common
say a little
knowledge, but
bit
like
is
there is
We're just
with
so
the
hung
other
up on
Ripper
it. That's why I hate
murders.
it, because there's all this other stuff
Yeah,
going on, and we're worried about knowing what the Ripper does.
the
It's
only
been a
reason
long
why
time
we
since we've seen an actual Ripper murder.
the only reason why we were suspect of these new murders is because we were like, oh my god, there's clues. Whereas before we get there, we know that there's a murder, but there's nothing. That's why he's saying that we don't know anything else and we don't have anything to tell you, is because we know someone's going around
Were
killing people.
Were you all in
But
that room when we went to meet the prince? And after Chuckles was killed, and we made mention of, I said, can we get to these scenes a little earlier so we have clues? And she made mention of, well, the Nosferatu probably won't be getting there immediately anymore because their primogen was killed. And then we get there and we're finally seeing clues. So to Ricky's point, it's the Ripper. Okay, so we finally are seeing stuff. The scene isn't cleaned out. So yeah, we assume it's the Ripper.
Yeah, I mean
Every
that's
other time we've gotten there, it's been fucking clean.
but
The thing is,
also the
Kemi,
reason why
Kemi said, sounds like you all have to first trust each other. And the thing is, Kemi, Kindred do not trust each other, ever, and nor should they.
yeah, I've been trying to
and
act a little bit less paranoid, but it's hard to live in kindred society without being paranoid a little bit.
Also, they're new. So
But what
his frustration of being out of the loop is warranted. Because she has no idea, out of in character and maybe out of character. Really, I don't know. But yeah, the frustrations are warranted. Like,
and to be fair, the one thing,
sorry.
real quick, Isaac, while we're on the subject of the Ripper, is the one clue that we knew made the new Ripper murder suspect is sure there weren't any clues there, but whenever Pandora sent us to them, because the Nosferatu got there and cleaned it up first, she always mentioned that it was exsanguinated and these new ones weren't. That was the one clue that we knew was consistent. But other than that, yeah, we haven't really known much. Go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, so a couple quick things. Yeah, like when we first started seeing these more recent murders, initially I was thinking, okay, maybe it's a Ripper murder because we're getting here before the cleanup crew. Maybe it looked like this before the cleanup crew gets to it. But like you said, Amon, the one clue is the exsanguination. And then back when like with Raps, yes, Shiva?
There is one other clue that you're forgetting.
The claw marks.
There's another clue that you're forgetting.
The ornaments.
What?
Giblets.
Nope. I
Or
think it was
lack
Dr.
of giblets.
Boyer actually has tasted vitae that was... He
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
what kind of vitae it was, except it was extremely potent.
Yeah, that was the one time we got there before the Nosferatu showed up, before the Primogen was dead, because that was in that building next to the church, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
In the
I think a lot of us
like
brushed that off that
Mithras
it
place.
was Chuckle. Because he's old too.
No. There was wait. No, I'm saying like it was the one scene that we got to before the Nosferatu were scattered.
Oh, at the his first premonition.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even a premonition. It was or maybe it was. I don't remember what told us to go there. But it was like that basement area, and that was where Amon was acting all paranoid because the claw marks, as per what the storyteller dictated to Amon, were exactly the same type that he remembers being on himself from being attacked by a werewolf. So
I think at this point I'm going to tell you all as well. This week's coming session is going to be revelatory in regards to the Ripper, or it should be.
You say that it should be. Therefore, it's probably not going to be because It's
None
players
of us are
versus
gonna get it.
GM thinking here.
Yeah, Shiver's gonna be like,
Okay,
"Oh
you got a
man, this
point.
clue. They're gonna hear it. They're gonna hear it, and it's gonna be that Takako in the headlights moment where it's everybody going, and then no one actually gets it when you actually say
Yeah,
it.
we'll roll insight on the mud.
Maybe it's a Niktuku.
I mean,
Roll persuasion on the mud.
yeah,
So, about the especially with the two newer party members, Rhapsody and Ricky, because Rhapsody's been around a little bit, she'd probably have heard rumors of the murders going around, but the last couple murders where she's been as part of the coterie, those have been the only murders she's actually seen, and at least
Yes,
for a
we
little
stated
while
that, yeah.
we thought, okay, at least for a little while we thought maybe they were Ripper murders. We figured out later they weren't. Ricky's completely new to this because she's new to the whole vampire society altogether.
There was also, I was just going to say there was also the fact that after finding the Chuckles one and we went and met with the prince, we kind of had one of those paranoid coterie moments where we're like, oh, the prince doesn't care that this important person just died in a very troublesome way. Maybe it's, and I remember having like an entire probably hour-long discussion of, is the prince the Ripper? So that was the moment we started to question a bit, because like you said, there was things that were weird about it that almost seemed like they might have killed Chuckles in a very unripperish manner, because there was giblets but there was also ash, so it's almost like he tortured Chuckles before granting him final death, kind of thing. So
Speaking of Ash, we did bring up that, hey, at that first site we went to, there was also Ash.
I didn't know
And,
about that. I wasn't there.
We brought that up because Cedar was like, yeah, I kept him in my hat and took him to Pandora.
Oh yeah. Kimmy, Isaac, he can use sense the unseen to see spirits if they're in the vicinity. Otherwise, for him to call up a spirit, he has to get a fetter, which is like a precious item that meant something to the spirit in its life, and he can use that form of ritual to draw it to him. Lacking that, he can't really do much.
any highlights from the previous game, Rhapsody? I'm sorry I interchange everyone's names so randomly.
No.
Okay. Tina.
I think I did all mine already, didn't I?
Yeah. Oh, back. Thoughts on back being Primogen?
I expressed that in game. That's bullshit. Something fucked up's going on, especially for an Anarch being voted into Primogen in Camarilla territory. But that's Nosferatu, and they're about themselves more than anything else. So I did what I was supposed to do.
Ricky Tiki, otherwise known as Tavi. Yeah.
Ooh.
Previous game. Thoughts, highlights.
It's highlights. I was sick, like, real world previous game, so that was part of Surly Ricky, or playing Surly Ricky. Ricky also did not want to be at Elysium or dealing with vampire things after the whole, hey, let's go, go kill somebody who's really important in the Camarilla, after we've been told that under no uncertain terms should you ever harm anyone in the Camarilla on pain of horrible, terrible, painful death. That is what the prince said, right? Horrible, terrible, painful death? Or just death? Same
It's actually
difference.
wordy for
The
her.
prince's favourite method of execution is execution by sunlight via crucifixion.
Yeah, that would be pretty
Oof.
terrible, horrible, and painful.
She also hinted that she didn't care if the Seneschal died.
Oh,
But that
weren't-
she
you weren't
wouldn't.
there.
Ricky didn't know that though.
Yeah, she didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was during the masquerade ball, so that would only be
And-
meta
and-
information to Tavi.
and that probably
She was
wouldn't have applied to Ricky, as it personally, because
Yeah,
Ricky is kind of like on watch.
I mean, to be fair, Ricky's freaking out about other things like what the Seneschal did or lack thereof did to
Yeah.
her.
Which
But I her concerns about what we did to the Seneschal, which seems very like we're breaking the rules after we told you not to break the rules. I feel like as soon as she asks someone like, wait, so why was it okay that we killed that guy? We can literally explain that in very quickly. But I am interested in getting down to the other reason why Ricky's upset.
with you mean with the events with the Seneschal?
Mm-hmm. Because I
Oh,
know we're kind of hitting it up a little bit with the training stuff that we're kind of doing,
which she's
behind
being
the
evasive
scenes.
on because she's not sure about talking to anybody in the training session.
Mhm.
There is somebody in the coterie that she wants to talk to, and I've already arranged that. That's going to come up in the next
Nice.
session.
Cool.
But yeah, so Ricky didn't want to be at Elysium because one, they just did this thing that she was really sure was a horrible thing, and then she went along with it anyway because she realized that Cornam was a real piece of shit and needed to be put down. It's like, okay, fuck this. I'm sorry I panicked. We'll put him down. And then she tried to put him down. And she lost control of herself completely, and then watches Amon and Cedra get horribly injured in front of her. And she's thinking they're going to be killed and is just in full-on beast mode, goes and rushes up to charge Cornam, and Cornam is just like, sit, and then she sits like a little puppy dog and can't move and does not really fully understand or appreciate. I think she probably understands by now that Cornam was doing some freaky vampire shit, but that doesn't make her feel better because, hey, she realizes that the reason why she's barely injured with just a couple of bullet wounds is because she's not worth killing. So that's like the she realizes that is the difference between her and somebody like Cornam in this world now. And also that she was not that useful to her friends except when not her but her beast decided to tear into one of the ghouls and completely drain it dry when she wasn't hungry. She didn't actually need that food. She was already at hunger 1.
Semi-related to that, how much of a good shot was Rhapsody in that?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
How many times did
Two
you
crits.
crit? Like 3?
2 crits. And on the second crit, though, the ghoul had to like matrix dodge and ruin it.
True.
Like the ghoul got a critical dodge. What the heck? The ghoul
Now Rhapsody's killed 2 things by shooting them.
So Ricky is also very happy that she took Rhapsody out to buy the gun, and is very happy with the fact that the gun clearly does work very, very well.
Yes.
Guns
So-
are effective.
Yes. So if she ever runs into that gun merchant again, he may get some repeat business. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. He's probably disappeared and fucked off somewhere. Never to be heard from again. But
I mean, guns are very effective in very specific situations.
Right.
As Armon / Nitro is finding out, range is incredibly useful.
Mhm.
which Ricky has none of that. Because of what she is. So yeah, there's a whole thing like with Ricky not wanting to be in Elysium, which was a combination of not wanting to deal with Camarilla and other vampires that she has to be on her best behavior for on a good day. Also, just, they did this thing that she's not sure was a good idea. She doesn't know how the Camarilla is going to act. And also, she didn't actually feel like she did anything useful in the fight. And And then they get to the whole announcement, and Ricky's all just shrinking, hide me, please, I don't want to be here, because, like, hey, let's praise the whole coterie, and Ricky's like, I did not actually do anything, I don't want any part of all this praise, I don't want any part of all this attention and eyes, because she would like to hide away and not draw attention to herself right now. That's ruined. Oh, and then Bach became Primogen.
Yes.
Yeah.
She never did get around to mentioning to the coterie that she might owe Bach a teeny tiny little favor, because there was a lot of yelling and that kind of just got forgotten.
It would have made things worse.
Yes, but it's not even a big favor, I hope. Considering that was not a big
one thing.
You never
if there's
know.
one thing that sets Xavier off the most, it's finding out you owe favors to people we don't like.
Yeah.
I guess
Well,
you could
that would
say
have been an us thing.
he's
Just
going
so
to
you
get
know
his
that.
own back.
Oh no. But yeah, so there was that going on. There's also stuff going on that Ricky is not aware of, which was currently Xavier's doing. So, like, I kind of noticed this, and we'll see if Ricky ever finds out. So we had Xavier go and tell Pandora. It was Pandora, Cedra, and Amon who were at the table, and Ricky was not there because she was over paying attention to Box Table. That Xavier called Ricky a basket case to Pandora and Cedra and Amon, but more specifically to Pandora, who's kind of like their Camarilla contact rep shadow. The person that
caretaker.
Yeah, the person that probably is the most concerned with whether or not Ricky is, behaving well as a vampire. So, like, okay, so Xavier said that to Pandora. And then Xavier did this whole thing, which Ricky knows nothing about, where he went over to Anarch territory, and in that conversation, he brought up Ricky as a possible recruit.
Well, there were a couple things said there. So if that's what you took out of that,
there were a lot of things said there.
Yes and no, but
yeah, yes and no.
Xavier wasn't trying to recruit her. The question was asked if you were impressionable,
right?
And I said yes. Some people might want to recruit you. Right. Xavier is going to try to not.
Okay, well, if Xavier doesn't actually personally try to recruit her into the Anarchs, she won't be as offended.
It doesn't mean he may not put you in a situation where someone can.
True. But yeah, it was more
vampire.
Vampire. But it was more like if Ricky finds out that hey Xavier was saying this one thing over to Pandora on the Camarilla, but maybe was saying something different over to the Anarchs.
See, Xavier's going to do what Cedra did with Amon, where he walks her over to somebody he thinks might find her useful. Not necessarily a Lance, but maybe like a gangrel that he's introduced to or something like that. But rather than doing the Cedra thing where it's like, hey, this is Ricky. She might be important. He'll just be like, hey, this is Ricky. Bye.
What I would like to know, and how would Rhapsody take it if Ricky was taken in by the Anarchs and joined the Anarchs?
That is a good question.
That is a question I'm still asking myself. And it's not going to be good, but it's not going to be bad either, I don't think.
Yeah, I also want to say for you, Tavi, don't stress out about all the stuff you just talked about. It sounds like you think too much into that stuff on how would I feel if this happens? How would I feel if this happens? The point is, in a situation like that, you won't ever find out that stuff was said, right?
Yeah.
Pandora's not going to fucking tattle on anybody, especially, and you're not a bourgeois. Lance isn't going to go, did you know what Xavier said about you? Not now, at least. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, but Pandora might.
See.
Well, yeah, I guess if now that I've pissed her off.
She is Toreador, so gossip's kind of, you know.
Yeah, if she.
Yeah.
But the thing
Cedra also is not here.
Well, Cedra ain't gonna tell you. Yeah, I mean, if I piss her off, again, if I piss people off enough, they may betray me. Pandora, though, I think would use that information to her advantage, and she doesn't seem like she's trying to recruit Tabby just yet. If she wants to recruit you, then yeah, she might totally be like, you know what the Anarch said about you?
Actually, meta information. As a gangrel of trying not to talk about her sire, maybe that might be a plotline for a later week. The thing the doctor suggested about finding out who Ricky's sire is using the sample. That's not happening this week, obviously, because then we'd have to work it in.
I mean, that's not even possible in V5.
Oh, okay. The thing the doctor said, just that's not a game thing.
Yeah, that would be that's messering with certain rituals from V20. V5. I'm going to try and say it as neutral as possible because I don't want to get into that V5 versus V20 war. We play V5. That's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
But V20 had
Hello,
far
sweetheart.
different rituals. Thank you very much, Nasaniko. I hope you're doing well. V20 had V20 had a lot of stuff in it for blood sorcery, thaumaturgy, including blood rituals. One of them was being able to basically track blood, finding out sire, all this sort of malarkey. V5 represents post-Gehenna world of darkness. You know, the world has ended. Elders, Methuselahs are basically gone. So and especially in V5 as well, not only are they gone, these people who have got more experience and who teach the childer, but the Tremere in particular, their biggest base, their haven in Vienna, where all their knowledge was stored, is gone. It's been blown off the face of the earth, and with that, so has the knowledge. So V5, in an effort to nerf, I suppose, for lack of a better word, thaumaturgy / blood sorcery, you now have what you have in V5, which are a far smaller amount of rituals, which are still extremely useful, but they're not as powerful outside of certain situations. Blood sorcery in V5 is very useful, but very specific. Whereas V20, it was a huge, wide-arcing thing.
Okay, so skip that. That's not going to happen then.
Yeah,
but just like meta, like as like a gangrel who she's not really talking about her sire because her sire's kind of dead, and it's more than likely her fault. It's definitely her fault. But she's trying not to tell the Camarilla that. Does she even have the option of joining the Camarilla, even if she chose to?
No one has the option intrinsically. Not really. I mean, there are obviously exceptions to this rule. I mean, a Ventru who's important to, within the Camarilla's hierarchy in the current city would embrace a child, and that person would be embraced automatically into the Camarilla because Ventru importance, etc. But unlike previous editions, the Camarilla have now disavowed any kindred that isn't directly part of the Ivory Tower, including Anarchs. So Anarchs used to, and the Camarilla used to consider all kindred part of the Camarilla, whether or not they said they did or didn't. But that's no longer the case. You have to earn your way in. You have to prove you're a merit. It's a cross between a meritocracy and a feudal system now with the Camarilla.
So she would probably be told no if she asked. Okay.
No would be the polite way to say it.
Can I just say that
she might get killed if she asks.
Oh no, she wouldn't be killed for it. It would just she could possibly be humiliated for just asking, mocked for just asking.
Yeah,
that would be a more accurate. And if you do ask in advance, I'm going to say sorry. So please don't necessarily put me in that position.
Okay.
I love the mental image with the fact that Xavier has been part of the coterie from the beginning, and he's been the guy that's like, I don't like vampires. I want to kill my sire. I like killing vampires because I think they're bad. And then Amon joins, and he's just like, Amon's kind of like, yeah, I don't really care much for vampires either. I wouldn't mind killing them, but I know that's against the rules. Come to find out, Amon's backstory is, hey, when I was mortal, I also hunted vampires and killed vampires. And then Tavi shows up, Ricky shows up, and she's like, hey, I don't really like vampires because they're like trying to always kill me. By the way, I already killed my sire.
Oops.
And Xavier's just sitting there like, why can't it be me? That's just my fun mental image. You're muted.
No,
So,
it's funny, but yeah, Xavier doesn't feel that way.
Yeah. I figured.
Honestly, his first thought probably was, I didn't think this at the time, was, your sire is kind of a pussy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, with Gangrel, that might be literally true.
like
Tammy's sire could have literally been a cat.
yeah, and could have been super young and just decided to, you know what, fuck this. I want my, I think I can be a sire. So yeah, I mean,
Anarchs aren't bound to the same
you're
rules
in our
as
fridge
Camarilla.
now.
yeah,
Isaac sees the embrace as a gift. It was offered to him and he accepted.
Isaac's fucked up.
Oh, that was something that came out in the last session. A little bit more of Isaac's backstory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more.
That was a very similar situation to like what we got with Xavier and Lance, where everybody's going, "Oh yeah, you know her. Oh yeah, nothing can happen to her. I'll do anything to help her." It's like, who the fuck is her?
I'm just not an asshole, and I'm gonna at least tell one of you all a little something.
Mm.
Maybe they'll come out eventually.
Oh,
it will.
Yeah.
There's such a good story there, Noskavian. We can't just leave that, and we can't tease
I
everyone
definitely
with that.
want to pursue it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to tell a little bit more on stream about it, or
Mm-mm.
It's
no?
up to you.
Okay. Just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little.
So this is probably something that Xavier knows a little bit, but Isaac does have a family. He has, yeah, and the her he is talking about is his wife.
I figured it was something like a wife or a daughter or something.
Did you turn her and stake her?
Do you want to wave to the internet with your mask on?
No.
Hi, Takako.
Isaac? Whatever your middle name is, whatever your last name is.
Isaac Detakata.
Turn your wife
What
and
did you
stake
do?
her? Yeah.
Huh?
Maybe.
Well, because, like, okay, is cryostasis a thing?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, for
Correct my
Kindred,
ear?
yes and no, because
Well, that's
you
why I
can
said.
you can be
I-
staked and go into torpor for a really long time, but if you're in it for too long, especially when you're like
Exactly.
hungry or low on blood, yeah.
What they said was they're basically just like, her time's coming up. What do you want to do? And so,
Yes,
That could
sir.
also mean her mortal time.
So,
Sure.
Actually,
I mean, it's only an emergency alert that I just need to tell you all, but I can wait.
What's the emergency alert?
Yep.
Yeah, just got an emergency alert for a particularly large earthquake at some point soon,
at some
Oh,
point,
like any minute now.
do you need to like head off?
It's more, if the stream suddenly stops, I might be dead.
Okay.
no way. Those houses are made of paper.
No, it's- yeah, well, where is it?
Really hot already.
We're gonna see Shiver start doing this,
Very big one. So maybe.
and he's just gonna be calm.
This will be
We'll all
interesting.
be freaking out.
Hey, Star Helix. Yeah, if
update
I
on it.
suddenly do the Star Trek Next Generation damage thing,
Then you know why.
I mean, to be fair, I've been in plenty of earthquakes at this point, and you just sort of sit in a chair and rock back and forth through them. Fine.
Shiv, can you
Or
from
stay
now
in
on
bed and
make
you're like, oh,
sure
for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Shiv from
5, 6 level for me. Is like I'm in bed. I just don't want to get up and stand in the doorway or get under a desk.
hey,
Yeah.
I just
The
want to
worst
lie.
bit
it's a
is
free
when it's
massage
first thing in the
bed.
morning and you're like, oh no, that means I'm gonna have to wake up and go to the fucking loo in a minute.
I'm just,
I mean, I literally did that through a 7.2. God, forgot about
this
that.
is how fucked up human beings are, by the way. Because you all go, it's just a small earthquake. I'll sit here, and I'm over here like, oh, it's only an F2 tornado. I'll stay in my computer. Like, we are
Well, so-
dumbasses.
Well, the difference for earthquakes, at the very least for me, is I'm in buildings which are mostly wooden and are designed with the expectation that we're going to be in a lot of earthquakes.
Question: was Christchurch designed the same way?
Yes.
Because they got hit by an earthquake and was devastated. So,
Guess where I'm living?
Christchurch.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the fact that your building's still standing, that's good.
So, but like this is another thing you have to also think about. Earthquake prone buildings in earthquake prone areas are not designed to stay standing. A lot of the buildings
Fucking
that
bollocks.
were like I was in the central city during one of the big ones, and I had to evacuate. That building is gone, but the building was designed to stay standing, for a couple of days after an earthquake, because you want to get the people out, but you also don't care about what happens with the building. The building's going to need to probably be replaced anyway. It's going to sink on some side of the building or something like that. The buildings that didn't stay up, that fell down, those are the ones that are actually deadly and actually problematic.
I was about to
never
ask
in
Fastcard.
buildings like that.
I was about to ask Fastcard to clip it, but there's no doubt he already has.
There's they have earthquake ratings on the buildings here, and they're a bit of a con because the earthquake ratings are designed to say, that could go up to this much and be left standing. At least that's what it's implied. It's only for the actual structure of the house. The walls and shit, the roof can all fall down, but as long as the foundations and the support stuff is still there, then it's got a high earthquake rating. And you're like, so what's the fucking point of having that?
A wall falling on you is it's going to be
Knock my
painful,
block
but
off.
it's not going to be too bad.
In my area, we really don't get earthquakes, but we did get one in recent memory, and it was about
Like
about
5 or yeah,
8
about
years ago, I
You
think.
got the same
Maybe-
earthquake I did, I bet.
Oh yeah, probably 8 or 7 years. It was in that ballpark, something like that.
The one,
And
the one where the epicenter was in Virginia.
Yep, that's the one. I don't exactly
Mhm.
remember how long ago, but 8 to 6 years, somewhere in there. And
Mhm.
I got to work, and like everyone was like acting really weird. I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "You didn't feel that earthquake that shook everything like 10 minutes ago?" I was like, "No, I was on the interstate." So it's like I was driving to work, and like the earthquake came by, and I just figured it was regular. The road was just a little bumpy. Wind was blowing a little bit. I was completely oblivious.
Do you know what happens for airplanes?
Oh, it's only a 2.2
yeah, what's the
G.
point of having an alert for a 2? I wouldn't get
No,
out of bed for a 3, let alone a 2.
No. I was looking at the earthquake they're talking about, and it's like it's a 0.2 G earthquake, and it's like no.
No, it was
It's only a
bigger than that, I think.
5.8. It isn't that
Oh, yeah.
deep, to be
I was
fair,
wrong.
but it's not. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I
Do
was
you know
I
what
was right
airplanes
on
meant
top
to
of the
do
intercept.
during an earthquake when they're landing or taking off?
What?
Kick back off.
No, just carry the fuck on.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not much they can do.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, well,
Um,
if the massive borehole opens up in front of you, well, you're fucked anyway, so you might as well just keep going.
it's if you're still above the airport, they sometimes will close the airport. Well, they will often close the airport if it's large enough because, for instance, the runway will shift by about a meter or two. But if you've got nowhere else to divert, you're gonna have to land somewhere, and you're usually gonna have to land in the place you were flying to anyway. So
Yeah,
But they
yeah,
stop the
Grandma.
trains,
The
but
earthquake
not the
we
planes.
the earthquake we got, like as compared to the earthquakes you guys get where you get earthquakes, it's like small potatoes. It was just we never in our area we never get them. So it's
Yeah,
like that
no,
was the
Yeah.
only earthquake some
Yeah.
people ever
it
experienced.
felt to me like my dog ran under the bed. You know, when dogs rush under the
Yeah.
bed
Yeah.
and bump it?
I
Like, it was
I
just
I
like,
I've talked about this before. I used to live. Sorry, at the time, I lived like miles from the epicenter. I was like very close to where it was, and I just remember being like, "Oh, like there might be an 18-wheeler driving down the road in front of my house." Wait, 18-wheelers don't drive in front of my house. Wait, it's not stopping. Oh, this is an earthquake.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
Um,
And then I remember going, I gotta save my PC because I thought it was gonna fall off my desk.
I have an earthquake detector. It's my little
Oh.
Gundam statue on top of my PC.
I was about to say.
In fact,
I just have a
starts.
very wobbly chair. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
just sort of like it starts to sway, and it sways in a specific way. Because like a truck rolling past, it's going to be very rattly. Whereas a earthquake, there is a sort of swinging motion to it that you can always feel. It's like, yeah, okay, I know it's an earthquake. It's definitely not something running, like something
She's
large
right.
running past.
Any highlights from the last game, Tavi?
Oh right, VTM.
Yeah, I just got way off track. Let's see. The whole thing in Elysium, let's see. Like both Cedra and Isaac not liking the Banu Hakim Primogen.
They weren't the only ones.
Which also the whole, but we don't like him because he's an asshole. Wait a minute. But we know a lot of assholes. Is there something wrong with being an asshole?
It was mostly we know how Kalal treated his own and how he was treating Cedra, especially as somebody that just killed the Seneschal.
Right.
It was a little bit overbearing, is what it was for us, for some of us. I know me and Cedra especially. We were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
You know who
It's
we
kind
are?
of like the old Kalal was the nice parent, and then they were like, oh, you got to go hang out with the mean parent for I'd say a weekend, but yeah, it's like you gotta go hang out with the mean parent for the rest of existence, and you go to the mean parent, you're like, oh, you're my parent too, so this would be fun, and they're like, no, shut up.
The new Kalal's the mean stepdad.
On being congratulate like Ricky introducing herself and congratulating them. Neither of the new Primogen insulted Ricky, which is normally what high-ranking vampires do.
It's true.
But she kind of expects to be called something.
It's yeah, this is an experience. If you had been, for one, called out as the baby, if you had said something stupid, or cocky, yeah, probably. But Ricky knows a little bit better, right?
Ricky's freaking terrified of strong vampires. She is full on terrified of them.
Also, in that moment, I think Cedra and Xavier kind of took over.
Because
I did that.
I remember Kalal making this odd comment about Ricky being like, oh, and she seems to know something, at least understand etiquette. What?
You were quiet and you didn't talk back to him, so he interpreted that in the best possible way.
But
down a gangrel technically, but
Ricky doesn't see it that way.
yeah, it's a weird backhanded compliment. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm,
But Ricky, from
I'm-
her own perspective, wouldn't see it that way.
Right,
I'm
right.
curious. I'm curious how Ricky would react to Lamia and Mercy.
Oh God.
That'd be a trip. There's a thing.
I think that's the worst thing for us to do, coming from an anarch perspective.
I know, but you know what
We want
makes
her
it
to
even
stick
worse?
around. We don't want
You know
Lamia
what's
to be
even-
like, "Who the fuck are you, and why are you talking to me?"
Yeah, but do
How
you know
old?
what the
Come back to me in
do you know-
11 months.
Yeah.
do you know what the worst part about that situation would be? Is we're like, hey, you're a gangrel and you want to know more about gangrels. So here's the gangrel we know. And it's literally the epitome of everything Ricky hates.
Yes.
Like people being treated as pets and objects and whatnot. And
Walks
and
up
it's
and
just
Lamia
like
stands there with her arms folded while her pet is eating something.
she's
Let-
able to fold her arms.
let's bring this girl who's named after a famous snake-eating mongoose to go meet this other girl who's named after a famous monstrous snake.
Because it seems that Isaac was
Ricky
the only one that
Tikki
really got
Tavi,
it.
Lamia,
Oh,
the
yeah.
snake lady. You know, Ricky Tikki Tavi the mongoose. That's the whole Ricky
Mhm.
Tikki Tavi story. Is Ricky Tikki Tavi hunts snakes to protect his family.
Also,
I hate snakes.
Lamia.
You probably would enjoy
her-
this story then. A lot of them get killed.
Lamia's defining feature was that she was large chested. That's why I said she can cross her arms.
Question
That's
mark.
how Shiver explained it to try to get us to be like, oh, we want to talk to that lady.
No,
Well, I
no.
mean, partially.
Shiver said this before. Shiver said this before. He only said it. It was Fazcart that designed the character.
Yeah.
And
Of
apparently
course it
that was
Fazcart.
a important
Fazcart.
defining feature.
Fazcart,
Oh, yeah,
you have an owner. What does she look like? Fazcart's like, I know.
See, I put
that would not go well, and Ricky would be like, "Nope, I'm getting out of here."
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
that would be
always
an
up for
interesting
pretending
interaction.
to have Fast Cat on a leash. That was pretty fun.
That was all fast. I have had to explain to several of my newer friends fast cart humor.
Yeah, the
Uh,
fact that we were introduced to Lamia and Mercy, and I went, "Oh my God, Fazcart is in a situation like this. It has to have been his idea."
Because fast cart does that.
Hmm. Also, I could see how uncomfortable Shiv was about the whole thing.
Which is
That was why fast cart did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. By the way, you guys,
you're back
you
at the
guys
front
probably-
of the bus alone.
you guys probably don't know this, but the bus that they keep referring to is the one we all talk about that we're riding to hell together.
Yeah.
That I'm driving.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
can we go
Well,
to
then how
hell
is
if
it
we're
the-
already there?
2020's been a hell of a
Question
year.
is AC/DC on the radio?
I doubt
No.
it. Yep, called it.
Oh, no Highway to Hell?
No, the 6 feet
Yeah,
undercover is
may
over.
be.
No.
It may be interesting if
To be
Ricky
quite
wants
honest,
to-
you're driving. I thought maybe Jack the ferryman from the beginning of our game would have been driving. I think that's where he came from.
Oh no, the ferryman's neutral. He doesn't take you to either he doesn't take you to the specific up or lower world. He takes you to the place where you get processed.
Oh, so
Into
we'll still
Soylent
get to see
Green.
him for a hot minute. Yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah.
Here's your bus.
hot minute because we're in hell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Just don't forget your coins.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, highlights. So the fact that Isaac like visibly got upset at anyone Like even when she asked about Bach, and Isaac is all like, "Oh yeah, he tried to start a war and all that, but he's really not such a bad guy. Xavier doesn't seem to like him, but I didn't think he was so." So it's like Ricky just has it in her head just to keep it in mind that, bear in mind whenever she asks Isaac about someone, that Isaac is not someone to say ill of anyone, even if maybe there might be a reason to speak ill of them, like starting a war. And then they get to the Haven, and Isaac's like actually visibly upset for the first time she has ever seen him actually be upset at anything. And also she's just added again onto her list of the number of times she's heard Cedra talk about honor and the importance of the coterie to her, and how much the conflict in her head rationalizing between all vampires are assholes and they want to take advantage of you, and don't fuck with the coterie, and Cedra seems to very much so value the coterie. Xavier at least doesn't want anyone fucking with the coterie. Isaac does seem to at least be helpful and nice and be willing to provide help and training and information without asking anything in return. And Rhapsody seems to just have fun trailing around with her, which just makes Ricky more comfortable, even if Rhapsody doesn't always talk, and sometimes when she does talk, she speaks in half answers.
So
it's like
that's pretty great, and it kind of makes me wish Isaac was a follower of Set. I forget what they're called now.
Ministry.
Oh no,
Ministry. Kind of makes me wish Isaac was a Ministry, just because how you describe that, because the Ministry are very much about similar stuff.
Well, if Isaac was a ministry of Set or whatever you call it, that would be a bad thing. If you were the ministry,
Yeah, it's Ministry in V5.
That would probably be a bad thing, because I'll just leave it as a hint. But out of game, Cedra and Amon have attended their first meeting with the cult, and we got some information about the cult of Set, or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Ricky's just asking had this thought back in the back of her head. Am I invincible? Am I invisible to certain vampires? After meeting what was his name, Peter Griffin?
Who said that?
So can I make this an example of real life? You just sounded like a dude that walked into a bar wanting every girl to look at him, and they don't. Like, am I invisible? You know what I mean? Like,
no, it was more there was that whole moment with. Sorry, there was the whole moment with Peter Griffin, and he made a big deal about it. Peter
Griffin.
Griffin. Yeah, Peter. He made a big deal about not seeing any of the rest of the coterie other than Amon and Cedra, and they were all in this tiny little room talking about.
That's because, yeah, I mean, the Peter is well, he's Venture, and Venture think very high of themselves.
Yeah.
So it's less of it's less of he. I mean, he is an asshole, but that's by. I mean, it's not because he chooses to be. He just is.
Yeah, that was kind of funny though.
But he's like, not bad. You're just drawn that way.
Yeah, here we're having this talk about cults and things in this tiny crowded room, and he's completely oblivious to the fact that there are these other people here listening to him talk about cults.
The only thing I was surprised about with that meeting was the fact that he didn't comment on the decor that we greeted him with. I was full on expecting a Venture to walk in and just be like, "Oh," before sitting down, like looking around the room and just going, "Oh, interesting." And then, because I mean, our office is a mess right now.
Any other highlights?
Telling Xavier, good to see you too, fucker. When he fucked off for a while, and then he finally showed up after everyone had been, hanging out for a while.
Whoopsie. Yeah, that was pretty good.
You lost a groundhog. Groundhog will be back. There's a groundhog.
Maybe she had
what
the
was it?
earthquake we were meant to get.
Very possible.
Oh, I accidentally hit the end call.
Yeah, that
I
was one of those
actually-
times Xavier was like, "The fuck? I didn't do anything. I just showed up."
I
was in a mood. And Xavier
still
was
don't want-
there.
I still
Yeah.
don't want to worship Xavier.
That's one of those moments of missing what do they call it when somebody hits on you and you just don't recognize it? I know you weren't hitting on me, but
Being male.
no.
Mm.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, one of those things where they say a
Oblivious.
thing, not oblivious. She just missed a cue or something like that. So she was in a mood and said, "What's up, fucker?" And he just didn't get it. Like Xavier of all the people should have been like, "Ah ha ha ha," but at that point he was just like, "What the fuck?"
Also, I mean, in fairness, Ricky was doing her "I am pissed off at the world," and it's okay to say things like "What's up, fucker" in her head to Xavier, but not necessarily to other people.
Yeah,
Dance.
and
Xavier's an
they're not
asshole.
on that level just quite yet, so that's kind of why he
Yeah,
was like.
But she kind of sees Xavier as this person who yells a lot and other things, so she just doesn't care.
"Who?
Yeah, see, like I even
Gonna
did
be
that
okay
thing
with
where
it.
it was like, because Xavier entered Elysium and he was like, I don't even make eye contact with the coterie. I keep walking. But Amon still did the thing where he puts up a middle finger because that's the kind of stuff Amon does with Xavier. And the only like he probably would have done something back, but Xavier was in a mood. Whereas in this situation, Xavier wasn't in the mood. Him and Ricky just aren't on that level yet, so he's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like Xavier's like, oh, time to go to Elysium. All right, let me make sure these fuckers know I'm a bourgeois. I'm gonna get my leather jacket on, shades, whole 9 yards.
That was another
He
reason why
also
Amon was flipping him
showed
off.
up later than everybody, and that's not normal.
Oh,
There was
Oh,
more than
yeah.
that. Like
Yeah,
there's that, and then he leaves. He speeds off without saying anything to the coterie and goes talk to Lance. Like, you all don't know where he's been. Everybody, nobody knows where he's been except for him. Nobody
he
asked.
hadn't-
Which
Yeah.
we're sitting in that room and we're asking all these questions, and I've sent a message to Shiver like nobody's inquired about where the fuck Xavier went. Like, nobody did. Like, nobody cared, and I thought it was great. Because usually somebody in the coterie is gonna be like, "Where the fuck did you go?" Because it's uncharacteristic for Xavier. As much as a pissed off, grumpy grandpa he is, he doesn't just peace out without telling somebody. He did tell Cedra, I guess he had
Unless
something
the
to take care
scourge
of.
shows
But,
So he didn't just tell Cedra, there was the whole thing with the brand and everything.
well, yeah, so I could tell you when I'm done, but he didn't tell her what he was doing, and so she knew he was going somewhere, and then she didn't even ask, and so
Mhm.
yeah.
I feel like if anything, the more, I mean, sure, it's characteristic because words are hard. Yeah, because Xavier doesn't really do that very often, if at all. But Xavier still seems like the kind of person that would kind of go off and do his own thing, which I think is why everybody was kind of what. If Amon tried to do something like that, then everyone would be like, what's
Oh, mommy and
Amon
daddy
doing?
absolutely would have been like, "Where the fuck did you go?"
Yeah, yeah.
That's who we are, essentially, Cedra and myself.
You meeting up with your SI buddies again?
Yeah, and Ricky doesn't feel like she can question stuff like that. She just feels like giving Xavier shit because Xavier has, gone off ranting at her more than once.
Your characters have got the shit stick with Xavier.
Hmm.
You just showed up fucking out of nowhere, and Rhapsody was thrust upon them at a time when why?
To replace Kalo.
So no. Sure, but we didn't ask for that. Thanks, Pandora, for putting your little spy in our fucking coterie. That's the way he saw that.
Wait, do we
Like
even
of
have...
all the things
Oh,
they gave us
wait.
a fucking Toreador,
Okay,
really?
okay, I mean, in
Reminds me.
fairness, right? Would Xavier prefer a capable Toreador that could do social conflicts, or the guy that was like, oh, or she's a hooker?
Neither. It's actually right now, neither.
Wait,
Shit's
what?
already a clusterfuck. I don't need more of it.
Remember, remember, Kayla was like, "Oh, she's a lady of the night." That thing.
Oh,
but no,
yeah.
Xavier
Yeah.
absolutely understands Rhapsody's gift, quote unquote. I wanted to say this
Wait,
earlier too, because we're talking
That
about
subplot still isn't resolved, isn't it?
what do you mean?
Was it Monique?
Oh no, that's still going.
Oh, we got
That's
all over the place.
yeah, that's kind of that between the cult that Cedra and I are going to and the thing that the doctor's off doing by himself. That's kind of going in the direction of Monique, because when we went after Monique, that was the direction we were
Was in the
pointed in. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just remembering. Oh yeah, there was this stuff with sex workers, and then like probably you could, tag Ricky on that, and she actually might be able to run around the streets and track people down.
It was less of that we were dealing with that group or type of workers or people, and more so the one contact that we had was in that world.
And then it led to the cult, and now it's cult.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but one
but
other
no.
thing I remembered that came up. The thing of Xavier taunting Bach about not being able to find out about the Seneschal, and then Maxine being all, where does he think Lorvad got his information?
Oh yeah, that was
funny.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fucking Xavier knows. He literally
No.
knows very for shit.
But I
Like,
mean, in terms of highlights, it was funny.
It really worked really, really well. From the story,
yeah.
it made sense. And then for the people watching, it gave me the opportunity to expand that narrative so people weren't sat there going, how the fuck did Lorvad find that out? So for me, it was fantastic.
I didn't think about that, yeah.
And
it was really good.
Celisk is gone now, but I love him to bits for coming every time. But he asked earlier what was my highlight of the game, and each and every week my highlight is basically the same, that I can write these things now in such a way, not everything, but the most important things, I can write them in such a way, and the coterie picks up on them and goes with it and takes it in this direction and presents these opportunities, and I'm like, yeah, excellent.
You know what's crazy about that too is sometimes because of what you do, I don't know if everybody else is this way, but I know with me, based on what you give us, and then I can play my character, things happen naturally that do that. Like the back thing, that specifically, me saying that, you say it did that, but I didn't do that thinking that like, let's do this and do that. That's just me playing Xavier, and Xavier's going to, based on in that room where I'm like, we're going to kick your ass, and he disappears. You know what I mean? Like, there's animosity there. And so, yeah, it did kind of create that.
I can kind of actually go off of that as well, because I mean, yeah, I don't know what the new Banu Hakeem Primogen's motives are, but just the way he spoke and the way he was different than the original Kalal, Amon isn't immediately antagonizing him like a lot of other people are, but he's kind of worried a little bit because of the fact that he with the way that the previous Kalal treated him and presented the Banu Hakeem to him, he kind of holds the clan high standards of, oh yeah, we are justice bringers, we do the right thing, and we bring we bring justice to those that deserve it. I hate that I can't find a synonym for that. But
fucking word, I'm gonna murder it.
Yeah, I know.
That one session where you all were like, but their justice is the same as our justice, and and the justice of the justice is the justice, you know. And I was like, oh, God.
Do you want
Yeah,
anything
and
you
just
drink?
the justice
Just ice.
So, like, I mean, Caesar was very standoffish with him because of the fact that he was like, oh, yeah, with the way that we view the concept of justice and, Caesar, just like in that huge conversation, is like, well, what if that's not the way I view it? But not outright saying that because he's the primogen.
Yeah,
Amon keeping the Banner of Akeem in such high standards in his mind is kind of not as hesitant as Cedra is, because he can see the fact that Cedra's like, I don't trust this. This isn't good. But also he's like,
Don't trust us.
I want to give this new Perigen a chance because yes, first impressions are important, and to us he gave us a very bad one, but we can't just write it off because we tend to do that a lot. Where we just go, I don't like that guy. He bad. Character
Lorvan.
bad. I don't like
Lorvan.
Lorvan.
there's
Yeah, I
enough
tried
of us we
to-
can assassinate him, right, guys?
I'll be
Oh, no.
completely honest. Because I feel like this was a realization that both I and Amon would have had at the same time. But when he went to go off on Lorvan during the Seneschal session, and Xavier stopped him, and Lorvan was like, well, I did everything according to plan. I helped you guys. I was just taken out of commission, blah, blah, blah. Amon didn't see it that way. And right when Lorvan explained that, Amon was like, oh, you were tricking him. You weren't joining the side. You were tricking him. So we didn't see Lorvan this last session, but if he was at Elysium, Amon probably would have gone up and maybe somewhat apologized. Because in the heat of anger and, frustration with everything that we just went through fighting the Seneschal and feeling betrayed, for Lorvan to be like, hey, no, I told you I was going to do what I did, and then I did it. And then something bad happened to me. That's what happened. Other than that, yeah, the new Seneschal thing. I don't know if anybody knows, but Amon was the only one that didn't talk to back. And there's a reason for that. Because one,
You didn't talk
we
back?
don't like back. No.
Wait, did Cedra creep back either?
I believe she did.
I don't
I'm
remember
pretty
her
sure she
creeping
did.
back.
I think she did, didn't she?
Yeah.
I think
I'm
she
pretty
did.
sure she did.
She was one of the last people to do it, and it was very short
Yeah.
and cold. But she did say
Yeah,
congratulations.
she was toast.
Amon didn't even want to do that.
Not as blunt and much nicer.
Ricky
Yeah,
mostly
Amon
greeted Bach because she had a feeling if she didn't, she would regret it.
Ricky's was, oh, hey, Mark.
Yeah, Amon feels the same way that Cedra and Xavier does, but I don't know
we
if
were all
anybody
there.
remembers, but Nosferatu don't like Amon, and he knows that. So going up and being rude and dismissive to the new Primogen, he would just rather not. It was one of those moments where I don't have anything nice to say, so I'm just not going to say anything.
Oh wait, wasn't it? I thought it was Isaac that like Harry reacts to with death.
I mean, that's
because
Harry.
No,
That's just Harry.
That's
yeah.
Hmm.
The Nosferatu don't like me because I embarrassed them at a party.
Harry.
Oh, yeah.
I
Is
think
that
we
why
can
you didn't
I think
get
we
a-
can tell them, Xavier, that this week in the coming session marks the triumphant return of Harry.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Ooh, Harry's
yeah.
coming
I'm
back.
gonna have to wear my Harry shirt.
Yeah.
You
had a
should.
Alright.
You should. You and everybody else that has a shirt like that should wear that shirt.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to wash mine so I can wear it again because I'm wearing it right now.
also Balo confirmed for next
The fact that you
That-
all
that
have
was
those shirts. Like,
Yeah.
possible. Balo. But
For-
moving on.
Real quick, Isaac, sorry, I know you've been trying to say something, but since we're talking about the shirts,
we do.
I was out in
remember
Hey,
that.
hang on a minute. Isaac, what are you trying to say?
Well, back to when we were talking about Kalal. Oh crap! What was I gonna say now?
Nitro, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, I get the impression that yeah, Kalal's coming in and he's like, yeah, you all the Banu Hakim are going to start following my version of justice. Like justice
Yeah.
isn't going to be the same now. It's my version of justice,
mean-
so everyone better fall in line.
To be fair, it's not technically it's not changed because the Banu Hakim were following the previous Kalal's interpretation of justice before.
Right.
Right, but I think it's less of what that means and more so the way it was delivered.
Yeah.
Because that was the same way. That was the entire reason why we didn't trust the Pater, because he literally did the same thing, and that was why we had that hour-long discussion about justice, was because he was like, well, what the fuck does he mean by that?
I mean,
word.
when it came to that, I was like,
I
I'm
know,
trying
I
to
know.
give you all these clues that the quote is totally going to align with your version of justice. I even told you that at some point, Mithras
Shiver and I just
himself
talked about this.
sat there with the Banu Hakim antediluvian discussing nature of philosophy and justice, and you're sat there after you hear this going, oh, I don't know if our things will align with his. And I'm like, you're
At some point,
fucking
Xavier was like,
antediluvian fucking discussed it with Mithras himself. If it doesn't align with that, then you might as well just kill your own character now.
but Xavier's the only one that had the revelation of, oh shit, these are the good guys.
Fine,
Everybody
good.
else was like,
Wait a
I
minute.
don't know. Maybe.
Define
To be
good.
fair,
I mean,
I
good
don't.
within the good as Kindred gets, really, on the whole.
Right.
Mm.
They're not
Right.
out. They're not intentionally trying to kill Kindred.
Yeah.
They're not being malicious.
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. Like
Yeah, our version of that word Tina hates is just the fact that we want to go around dispensing that word to
see how ridiculous
hold on.
it sounds when you have to fill
Yeah.
in the blank.
We want to go around dispensing that word on people that just go against the the tenets, what are the things called, the rules that the
Tenets.
Camarilla tenets. Okay, I got it right.
Well, if it's the Camarilla traditions,
Traditions.
traditions.
Traditions. Yeah. The thou shalt not kill another kindred. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, it's the tradition of the masquerade,
Without
the
a blood
tradition of
hunt.
accounting, the tradition
Mhm.
of other
Domain.
things. Domain.
Yeah, the five or
Domain,
six rules that I always used to just call the masquerade, even though the masquerade was one of the rules. Yeah, those things. That I think that's Cedra and Amon's version of that word Tina hates.
Mm-hmm.
What's that word
And-
Tina hates?
Hey,
I don't know, something about only being ice.
See,
Yep.
Amon hates it now too because he realizes how
Hey,
much they say it.
wasn't there
Yeah.
a character? Was it the Tremere that Dr. Boyer was speaking to, or which character was it during the story that said something along the lines of the cracks in the ivory tower are showing?
Yeah,
That was Noscavian's when he was
right,
at the
that
family.
Mm,
Yeah.
That was the one that came up.
Family
So
head
that
for the
that
castle.
clan is kind of eyeing the Camarilla, going,
Oh yeah, because
because
they mentioned that building. That's not
Mhm.
their new domain. They're using that for something, a school
Yeah.
of some kind or something crazy,
Mhm.
and they're wanting to get the prince to bless off and put it into their territory or whatever.
They wanted to get put under Elysium rules and allow all kinds of kindred
Yeah, that's
in,
right.
so they
Right, yeah.
then they
wanted-
would have like some kind of place where people can meet with them, but it would like maybe you could argue, well, it's meet with them, but then it's like kind of on their terms, kind of like Xavier feels that right now the Elysium that we've been going to is kind of all, well, it's neutral, but it's all on the Camarilla's terms.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, so like maybe they're
Yeah,
trying to
no,
set up a situation like that where they can
I
start
totally forgot about that.
power playing
Yeah.
I mean, I
the
think
politics.
Isaac completely forgot about it because he didn't ask Pandora about it once.
Oh wait, wasn't
Ask
he supposed
Pandora
to do?
about what?
Yes, he was.
See, he did completely forget about it.
That's right. That did come up. Isaac, you were supposed to
To
do
be-
that.
Oh,
You're supposed to
I-
ask Pandora if she'll bless the haunted, if she'll, or get the Camarilla to make the haunted house into an Elysium.
to be
Or put it under
fair,
God.
Elysium rules.
I
I
mean,
need to talk to Pandora.
Yes.
I'm not gonna
I can
I'm not
text her.
gonna
Just kidding.
I'm not gonna make an excuse for Isaac here, but all that was like eyebrow raising because it was like we want this place put under Elysium rules, and then all of a sudden Isaac and the what's his face were starting to talk about, oh, it's almost her time. Do you want to save her? And that was when everybody was like,
In
wait,
fairness,
hold on, what's
it was
this
eyebrow
now?
raising to everyone except Isaac, who is very much aware of his own backstory, I would hope.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remembered everything except the fact that I needed to talk to Pandora.
Yep. So we've got Clan Hakata is going like, ooh, the cracks are showing in the ivory tower. We've got the at least the Bruja Anarchs over with Xavier's thing with Lance being like, yeah, there's this thing going on. Like the ivory tower is like kind of weak right now, and maybe we can free this guy that they imprisoned. We've got let's see. Okay, now I'm remembering. Okay, so the Tremere with Dr. Bodier is all like, yeah, we've totally 100% back the Camarilla. And don't you dare defect over to the epistemists. Yeah. And the
Yeah,
Anarch
that word takes you
Tremere.
pessimist, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And then the new Kalal is all like, well, I'm gonna make everybody follow my brand of justice. Well, the big question is, how well will that mesh with the Camarilla? In theory, probably pretty well. But we'll see. And then Bach is an anarch and is now Nosferatu Primogen, but is definitely an anarch and has a history of trying to start a war between the anarchs and the Camarilla. I do not want to be the prince right now. It sounds like a very bad time to be prince.
The prince probably doesn't even
As
know.
old as she is, she's probably went through worse. I mean, she
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
literally was in Gehenna. Like,
Yeah.
this is small fries. Probably
And
there are
I-
people seething to become
Fizzer.
seneschal.
Holy fuck!
Hey, Fizzer.
Hey, it's a Fizzer.
Sorry you
Oh,
died.
wait.
Hope you come back soon.
Hey, Fizzer.
You know who would play a really good seneschal other than Eris?
Oh.
Fizzer.
Hey, Fizzer. I just realized I don't think Fizzer's met the new me yet, and Fizzer and I used to shit talk a lot, and now Fizzer's probably really confused because we used to really. Yeah, hey Fizzer, do you remember somebody you used to tease about being Lord Grimsworth all the time? Hi, I figured out I was a lady instead of a lord. So hi, I'm Tavi. Good to meet you again.
Wait, can't ladies
Oh,
still be
shit.
lords? If Game of Thrones taught us anything,
Well, I
Hey,
mean,
our prince is female.
in
True.
British heraldry. Whatever. It was the point I was trying to make.
But no, just to go back to VTM real quick, I think I mentioned in character during the game that that with everything that we're worried about with Bach being the Primogen now, about like, he's a big deal that he's a Camarilla Primogen now. The Nosferatu is mostly who gives the information to the prince. So whatever the Nosferatu are up to, the prince doesn't know and doesn't care.
I think Nitro's said it before. The prince doesn't care about the hows and the whys, just the results.
Yep. That's why whenever we're like, hey, we think this person might be against you, she's always been like, yeah, I don't care if they die. It seems very against the traditions, but she's also the prince. So.
I mean, yeah. And the prince is old enough now that her humanity is probably something that Nuskavian, if he had a chance, would pay money to have at the start. So,
But yeah,
Isaac's so friendly.
Highlights. I might have mentioned quite a few. Concerned. Only concern with the whole thing that Xavier's bringing me on now is the fact that Amon's already done a lot of information keeping. I mean, it was information he was keeping from everybody, but Caesar's pretty disappointed in him about keeping secrets from her. And all of a sudden, Xavier comes up to him and is like, "Hey, I need your help doing this thing. We might get other people involved later, but I need you to keep it secret for now." And Amon's like, "Yeah, of course." But when Caesar finds out, what, a month later or however long it takes us to chase this little hook down, Caesar's going to be like, "You knew about this for how long? And you didn't tell me? How many other things are you keeping from me? This and that." I'm getting better at knowing when Shiver's being pretentious and when he's just being a vampire. Because, like I said, we were, big on, being against what the cult of Mithras was doing, because it was like, hey, this is our form of nothing but ice, and you're gonna have to enforce it, this and that. And we were very much like I think I mentioned it before, either in a post game or during Burning Questions. But part of me was like, yeah, he's probably telling the truth, and we're just being paranoid because he's Ventrue and he's being pretentious about it. Like, it probably means the same thing ours means, but just the way he's saying it because of who he is makes us worried. So that's why I was a little bit more hesitant when the new Kalal did the same thing. And, like, Caesar got all paranoid, but Amon's like, this is our first time meeting him. Let's give him a minute to warm up. If once he casts Blush of Life, and we'll see if we like him a little bit more. But yeah, Amon's kind of worried about Caesar. Caesar's getting like overly paranoid for somebody that's Banu Hakim, and she just went through a lot of stuff where she pretty much lost quite a few members of her clan, and so she's both upset. And then this new person of her clan shows up and seems very different than what she expected. So he knows that she's going through that. Other than that, I mean, I'm having some fun behind the scenes stuff with Isaac and Rhapsody and Ricky that I think could come forward in the future, like it already kind of did in last session. I'm kind of doing it as a way that Ricky is trying to find people to confide in, and while I don't know how much Amon would be able to help with her issues, I'm trying to give her an out rather than just hoping that asking somebody out of the blue might result in that.
Yeah.
And of course, Isaac is the friendly, grandfatherly type.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac was all like, Ricky, have you ever thought about being a scholar? You should. You could totally do that now. Oh, by the way, there's this old gang girl named Beckett. He does all these cool things, and like Isaac just dropping all the stuff that Ricky's all like, well, that actually sounds nice for a change.
Like straight up, if you could visualize the little background thing that we're doing right now, it's literally everyone showed up to Amon's gym, and Amon looks like that old trainer in like a boxing movie that's too injured to continue his career because he's in a sling.
Rocky.
Yeah,
I used to fight Batman, Rocky.
Yeah, Amon's got his arm in a sling, and he's like holding the dummies so people can punch them.
Did no one get my joke there about Rocky,
I did.
the trainer? I
Rocky
fought Batman.
Balboa.
We've seen Rocky Balboa.
Then you know the it was Adrian. Was that Adrian, or that was Adrian his wife?
Adrian's was
Adrian.
Adrian was the
You know
wife.
who the trainer, what the trainer's most famous role is, right?
the old guy.
He was the Penguin in the Batman '60s series.
Mm.
Oh, I always knew him as the Rocky trainer guy.
Fuck, I'm old.
Wait, the guy that trained Rocky is Danny
What?
DeVito?
Ah,
60s Penguin.
I think he
I
means
know. I know.
I think he means
know.
the penguin from the lifetime before.
Hmm.
before Batman retired and became mayor of wherever Family Guy's place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not Rhode Island, is it?
It's somewhere like Rhode Island.
Anyway, anything else? Any questions or anything before I move on? Anyone got any questions? I'm dreading asking that with Fizz watching.
Cohog.
Thank you.
I don't know. My
Wasn't there
dog
something-
is trying to get my attention.
Somebody was asking about the background of like towards the end of the last session, and we were all like, "You can ask on burning questions." Now I forget what it is, or was.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh no,
we did say
Fizzer has
something like that.
questions. Shiver.
He is
Maybe we
lying.
should answer those.
Hold on,
Oh
hold
no,
on.
he'll have
Let's
questions, but
let's
they'll
give
be
him
questions
one.
that are completely irrelevant to us to answer.
Let's give him one. For old Fizzer's sake, let's give him one.
No, because his question is going to be, can I ask more than one question?
Yes, and then our answer could be no.
Well, so no, I can't remember it either from last session. What the question would be?
Wait, can I quote Shiver?
Only if you do the accent.
No, or I'll make you play Harry more. So not sorry for what's going to happen next session.
Fizzer.
We're going to have to clarify to everyone after the next session.
Yeah,
Wasn't me.
evil. I'm so evil. I love my character. He's just evil. Although,
Right, I have some announcements. First of all, the fantastic Vancouver by Night, who does some amazing support, not just specifically for us, but for pretty much the entire Vampire the Masquerade streaming community here on Twitch, is doing Werewolf the Apocalypse. I think it's still called. I think they're doing Werewolf the Apocalypse, not for Faken. Yes, it is.
Mhm.
That's Saturday, 6 p.m. PDT. Shadows Rising. Tune in, because Werewolf is a very different game to VTM, but set in the same universe. And you probably already know this, but Vancouver by Night do a fantastic VTM game. Imagine what Werewolf's going to be like. It's great.
Yeah, it's because they're
wow.
gooey.
Couldn't resist that.
Hmm.
Should we tell them about the one shot we're considering? Well, not considering
One-shot?
that we will be doing.
Probably not.
No?
I say we figure out who's GMing it first, and then we'll announce.
I mean, we're considering doing a one shot from Aurora Sanguine, who you should give a check out on Twitter and does the very odd stream here and there when she can. That's what I'll say for now.
Yeah.
Because again, a great member
Very
of the
interesting
community and does
system.
a lot of stuff. She runs a play-by-post game set in Italy.
Hmm.
So check that out. And check it. No, you can't say go and check her out. That's not how you say that. Check out her Twitter profile or over on Twitch. Any
See
other
if I can-
announcements? Thank you, Tavi.
Welcome.
One step
Did you
ahead.
post? Thank you. That's what I was getting ready to do.
Yeah, I can say she's a hell of a writer. So check out her work.
Yes. Having been reading through that book, there is a lot to chew through. It's very good too. There's just a lot.
I asked her about that. I said, how many of you worked on this backstory? Who did that? And she was like, me.
Yeah. It's like her and one other person in the credits of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get some more solid details on when, how, who for that one shot, we will give you all the details, including where you can get a hold of her work. Which, well, you can get a hold of her work right now on Drive-Thru RPG. It's called Arcana Familiar. It's very reasonable price. You don't even need dice to play the game necessarily.
Correct.
Interesting.
$11.25 over on DriveThru.rpg. Arcana Familiar. Check it out. It'll feel familiar. Arcana? I barely know her. Anything else? No.
No.
All right.
We're live in 2 days.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah.
What? In a few days?
2 days.
Well,
2 days.
our game is 2 days.
Oh yeah, that's yep. Great minds. Save Wayne, mate. We'll be doing VTM. London's Burning. Saturday? No, yes, Saturday your time zone, but
No, Friday.
Friday your
Friday,
time
your
zone.
time zone.
Friday, 23:30 UTC.
I'm not time zone. So, Friday, most likely your time zone. Saturday, Groundhog and I time zone.
Yes.
Excellent. And yes, it's if you've been following the story, it's one that you're going to want to tune in for, because whether or not they realize this, great revelations coming.
I know I'll be
Shifts.
there.
Great revelations from the GM, completely ignored by the rest of the party.
Most likely.
You'll probably know if something's up if I do the deer in the headlights. Because I'm pretty good at putting stuff together. I mean, sometimes I'm not. I'll admit that. Sometimes I'm pretty dense.
It's enough for you to start actually thinking about how you can do something. That's vague enough. And if you just look at it and accept it for what it is and go, oh well, that's what it is. Oh, what does this mean? Don't know. Then which is most likely what's going to happen, I'm going to be like, oh god. But we will be able to talk about that on the next Burning Questions. Anyway. Is that it for... I think that's it for announcements.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, hopefully we will see you Friday, 23:30 UTC. The Star Trek game, which we've started doing. We're getting there, basically. No?
Word.
Yeah.
You just kind of
It was not smooth. I think we're in a good place with VTM where it's really smooth. You know, there are moments where it's not
was
always,
clunky, but
yeah, like the Starship combat. First time we've ever actually done it. I think we were pretty much there, but it was still clunky.
I think it was a lot smoother than you thought it was, because you kept apologizing, but I thought it was fine.
Okay. But yeah, that's going to be our irregular secondary thing. Various one-shots and lots of other things coming in the future. Hopefully, if I can make it happen, maybe Xavier will do a striptease.
Donate your bits. Donate your bits.
I'm not saying no.
Donate your bits to see
Make it
Xavier's
ring.
bits.
No,
Oh.
it went the other way. They keep coming off until you donate. Donate, I put another clothing back on.
Oh, there we go.
Gotta play to my strengths here.
Yeah. Noscavian, thank you for joining us. Where can we find you outside of here?
You can find me in the Discord, just at me, or you can see me playing on the weekly game.
Nitro, Typat, where can we find you outside of here?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch and on the Discord.
I mean, I can't read chat, but this is my general direction to chat.
I was about to say, who are you pointing at?
Groundhog, where can we find you outside of here?
I'm on the Twitters or whatever you're going to call it, as Groundhog20101, and I also occasionally stream on Twitch at the provided link that's now popped up in the description. Thanks, Nitro.
Somebody was busy. Thank you, George.
Yeah, I think we should change George over to William.
That's fine. I mean,
Tavi.
it depends on how you feel in 90 days when we can change the Twitch name.
I'm in favor of changing it to William because the little points thing that you get down there as you just watch, it's William. You get little William points. Tavi, where can we find you outside of here? Please.
Tabby, unmute.
I forgot I did that because Kitten came home.
Ah.
So I was briefly welcoming Kitten home. Kitten's my wife. I am on Twitter at twitter.com/Tavi_wolf and twitch.tv/Tavi_the_wolfus. I should hopefully be doing more streams. I have some projects in the works. Maybe, possibly, things need to get finalized with some different people and stuff.
And last but by no means least, Xavier, where can we find you outside of here?
I don't know if I have my. Did you put my info in too? Because I think I was gone that day when you asked for it.
I did.
Okay, yeah, yeah. He didn't have my Twitter because my Twitter's private. Yeah, I rarely stream. I think I got to talk to Shiver, but I think at some point I was going to do Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines stream on this channel. Actually, I don't know when that'll start. Hopefully soon. I need to find a day that I can do it every week. It's something I want to keep going. But so yeah, but I'm at the Discord, so join the Discord and you'll find out when that starts because that'll be fun. It's going to be me and then probably Shiver making fun of me while I play the game. I'm hoping he'll talk to me kind of like the people announce races, you know what I mean? So just yell at me when I do something crazy. Oh my god, he turned left!
I could
by
be
race
like
games, you mean NASCAR.
Shoutcaster, I think is what they call it.
I could go with that guy in the cinema/theater, depending on your language, you know? Oh, he don't want to do that. He don't want to go in there. What you trying to do there? I don't know why that requires faux southern accent, but that's what you got.
Mystery Science Theater.
3000, yeah.
Yeah. I'm more so imagining Tina playing and he's just making his own decisions and he can't hear Shiver, but Shiver's just in the background going, "Oh, why did you do that?
Actually,
That's the stupidest choice in the game."
We won't do face cams, but we'll try to figure out how to put our silhouettes at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, it's easy.
Like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh yeah, that'd be super easy.
So we
Yeah,
move
that would be
around.
super easy.
hmm
I could do it southern all the way. Like, boy, you did not want to go in that bar.
No, I'm imagining like the angry theater attendant that's like eating popcorn and yelling at the movie.
Yeah, I got some ideas for the stream. It depends on if people actually watch, to kind of give the viewers a little bit of a role in the game too. It is an RPG, so.
And final question, Nitro. Where can we find your OnlyFans?
It's private.
Fair enough.
Join the Discord. There's a secret link. I'll send it to you.
Deals on wheels.
We're
Thank you
whoring
for coming.
ourselves out.
We will hopefully see you Friday/Saturday, whatever your time zone, for our next episode of London's Burning, which should be good. I've written so much for it. Take care, all. Toodle pipskis. Groundhog. Do you want to say the line?
Sure. Have a good night.